So it is what it is. Cheers. Nobody cares. It's Friday night, so I decided to have one beer. It is what it is. I didn't buy it. Okay. So here's the thing. You might be asking, like, if you're new here, why would I, smoke the same cigar more than once? Well, I guess you're new here. Over the years with this channel, I've been trying to show guys, going back to the same cigar or going back to it in different sizes. And even going back to, let's see, a cigar that's out, but it's been out for a long time. Look at if the cigar has a date on the box, and then see how, let's say you find one that's 2 years or 1 year or 3 years older than a new production one you got just recently brought to your cigar shop. Make sure they're both not too moist, but in the same week, maybe smoke them both, and then you can kind of see how time has changed it. At the same time, not all time is good. People think more age on a cigar is good in the proper settings, right? Vacation's nice. That's good time. Prison's bad. That's bad time. So what I'm trying to say is, if a cigar is kept in an extremely moist environment, like where it's way too moist, in a lounge, at their humidor for like 3 years, that could be a problem. And even if you dry it out for a couple of days in your dry box, in your cedar box, with no Bolivar, just to relax it a couple of days, so you get better combustion, better flavor, better smoke. It still might have that weird damp basement kind of feel to it. So it is what it is. So point is though, coming back to the same cigar, see, because if you had a great experience on a cigar, that's great. Well, try it again. It doesn't have to be the same day, obviously, whatever you want to do. But if you come back to it, and if it repeats, now it has reliability, right? You start gaining reputation. Yeah, I would do this again. And I did do it again, and it was still good, or it's even better, or I got something different out of it. If you come back, if a cigar sucks though the first time, maybe if you feel like, giving them a chance, maybe you got a bad one. Maybe it was too moist. Maybe you burnt it. Maybe you dropped it. Maybe it was dropped before you got it. And these are factors, right? If you get a cigar and it starts unraveling and you didn't drop it, some other asshole could have dropped it. So to do a one and done only, on a cigar, sometimes is, not always fitting. However, there are some cigars that, let's say if there's no damage, and the cigar's have good humidity, and you have a good light on it, it's working fine. If it still just tastes like a piece of shit, and it's just not a good cigar, well, there's no point going back to that. But it is what it is. The Bolivar Gran Republica, Ecuadorian Habano, Brazilian on the binder, and then Nicaraguan, Brazilian, and Colombian on the filler. I don't know why I almost forgot that for a second. I had something else on my mind. That's okay. So yeah, I wanted to come back to the cigar for another reason too, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly why. I'll tell you exactly why. When I got these the other day, I smoked them pretty much right out the box. I let them out for a little bit, but I could. So this has been in the cedar box now for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. No Bolivar. Just wanted to just dry out a little bit and to see how, because this is how normally I would smoke a cigar. You'd have it in the humidor and take it out for a couple of days, if you could. And it is what it is. There's no rush here. This is not that kind of place, And so, like I said, coming back to a cigar in the same week, I think is a good thing if you enjoy it. Or if you felt something was off, try it again. See if it was a fluke, you know. But yeah, so the first experience was great. And I want to see if this experience is even better with, my opinion, letting it dry box for a couple of days, just get some more, excess moisture. And if I get even better combustion, more flavor. And if it stays the same as the original time, it was great. If it improves, even better. There's been some guy driving up and down this block, no joke, 100 miles an hour. I know the other night we had somebody going around the block over and over again, like treating this neighborhood like it's a racetrack. And that's dangerous, I don't care someone doing 40, maybe 50 miles an hour in a residential neighborhood. That's still too fast. 100 though, like no joke. Like the guy's driving like Mario Kart. Like no, you're gonna get someone killed doing that shit. Yeah, so I definitely want to see if this improves combustion, which improves flavor, detectable flavor. Oh yeah. Okay. You could just go back. You could go back to the beginning of the other video on this same cigar and look at the combustion difference. Yes. Yes, I can't stress it enough. It's even better than when I had the other day. And that was one thing when I was smoking. I didn't say anything because I know that's not the tobacco's fault. It's my fault for getting it right away. And just automatically, like how if somebody came back and it's one of those sci-fi movies, you got to put them in quarantine for 24 hours. Whatever it is, you buy a cigar at a store, you get cigars online, whatever the situation is. Good rule of thumb is at least a day, maybe 2, 3 even better. Put it in a cedar box with no cellophane, just nothing. I'm telling you, did you see that ignition on this? Same cigar, but look at the difference on the ignition. I can't stress it enough. Oh, yes. 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 It's even fuller. It's even richer. It's even heavier than when I had it the first time. And I loved it the first time. But I didn't have a chance to, sit in my cedar box for a couple of days and shed some water, lose some moisture. I'm not talking about for 2 years in the dry box. A couple of days ain't gonna hurt it. This asshole's coming back. I hear him. Yeah, see guys, and see what I'm doing here. Whoa. What I'm doing here is personal responsibility. A lot of guys don't do that. Definitely not in the cigar community. They'll blame the cigar touch-ups. They'll blame the cigar bad construction. They'll blame the cigar this and that. Bad draw. You gotta hold yourself accountable. I'm telling you. The other cigar, I didn't have time due to me wanting to rush because I was excited, just to have it right away. But just those few days in that dry box, this is another animal. That's not the guy. This is another animal. Richer, darker, sweeter, spicier. Everything that the other cigar was doing is more pronounced, and there's other stuff that the other cigar wasn't. I'm telling you, just like if you took a steak out the freezer and just tried to grill it right away, you should have let it sit down. With the cigar too, the opposite in a sense. You letting it sit in this dry box, not to get warmer like a steak out the freezer. But you understand what I'm saying? Acclimation. And for some reason, my phone did the same thing. It made the screen went dark, and it made the loading symbol. This has never happened. It's only happened, I think yesterday or the day before, and what's going on? Anyways, so I can't stress it enough. Any cigar you had, if one, you didn't use soft, gentle heat. If two, make sure you're hydrated. Okay, if you didn't drink water all day, your tongue's be bound. Three, if it's the second cigar, you're wrong. The first time you have a cigar, don't ever make it your second. If it's your first time having a cigar, make sure it's the first cigar of the day. I'm not saying you can't have another one afterwards if you want to, but make sure it's the first cigar of the day. Why? Clean palate. And I'm telling you right now, and Bovidas are great, but before you smoke a cigar, just taking it out of the cellophane, getting away from the humidor, away from the Bovida, whatever you use, if you just put it on top of the humidor for a day, 6 hours. A day's better. 2 days, great. I'm telling you. Look at that smoke output and the ignition on this. The flavor's richer and heavier, and I'll tell you what, I don't believe on the first one that I smoked that night, and it was great, but I don't believe that I was getting tons of any kind of wood note or cedar note. And I'm telling you on this right now, I am. A lot of wood. So if a cigar has a little too much moisture, clearly it wasn't massive amounts too much, because just 2 days made a major difference. But that moisture shed was just enough to make the cigar to be on the precipice at full potential. These are things that nobody thinks about. Because if you think that the cigar is a cigar and you are you, and there's no connection, and you can't make it any better or you can't make it any worse, and it's all the cigar's fault, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay? You could buy the cigar. Right? What's the condition? Did you drop it? How's the moisture? Are you using soft, gentle heat? Are you hydrated? Are you exhausted? Are you well rested? Did you eat? Did you overeat? Et cetera, et cetera. Do you got diarrhea? I'm going to tell you right now, if you got a shit, go shit, then smoke a cigar. You don't want to be smoking a cigar and you're squeezing your cheeks for dear life. That's a terrible experience. Wash your hands. I can't stress it enough. Absolutely marvelous. I don't want to even go back to the other night. I'm going to go to right now, because I'm telling you, when you have a cigar and I got to do what I wanted to do on this cigar, which was to leave it out in my dry box for a couple of days. Even better. A rich, heavy wood note. Pungent wood note. That's fantastic. And clearly that wood note was hidden when I got it because the cigar was just a little too moist. And that's no one's fault that it was hidden. It wasn't like, they did it on purpose. I'm telling you, I can't stress it enough. Whatever cigar you enjoy, even leaving it out for 24 hours on top of your humidor, okay, out of the cellophane, the next day when you smoke it, as your first cigar, not your third, as your first cigar, you're going to see such a difference, so much more potential. A massive amount of black pepper spice. The finish, heavy black pepper spice. The finish is long. Salt on the finish as well. tons of rich wood. Sticks to the tongue, sticks to the teeth. Absolutely great burn. That's heavy. There's earth, but not massive amounts, not right now. Everything about it is more pronounced. Loud. It is loud in the first third. That's a heavy medium to full right now. And the draw is even better right now. So therefore, in theory, both times I had the cigar, the other day and now, they have the same potential for the draw. The difference is, it's like if you have two sinks, and they're both brand new, both good, but if one is slightly clogged, it's not going to drain as well, the flow. Well, in the same concept, if you have a cigar and you didn't let it, dry out a little bit, the air is not going to have the same flow, and the air delivers the flavor, because the flavor is the smoke. Well, yeah. Well, the smoke is the smoke, and then the flavor is your interpretation. I mean, don't ever let anyone tell you what you're not tasting or what you are tasting. What you get is what you get. And if you get nothing, maybe you have no interpretation. Maybe you're not in sync with your mind. You're just like, I like the cigar. I like the color. I like the face. I don't know. Whatever it is. Or maybe you don't like the face, so you didn't buy it. All I'm telling you is right now that the change of a few days of dry boxing has completely, it's not like 100% change, but completely altered the course of this experience. It's not the same experience as the other day. It is much, much heavier, pungent, like right off the bat, because of the proper delivery, right? Quite leathery as well. I'm telling you, we talk about changing the size, and it changes the blend, and it does. But also, hey, I don't like to use the word learning when it comes to cigars. Becoming more aware of what I'm doing. And having the awareness that the same cigar, with one, the first day I got it, and two, even in a few days in a dry box, would really change up that experience. That's massive. That's massive. That's quite cool. Because I don't think I've done it like that exactly. Because for the most part, I think the cigars I have like, let's say one, and I put in the dry box. But in this case, I had two that night that I got that day. And then I'm having one now, being dry boxed a few days. So it's close enough in the same week that I can remember the experience. And all I can tell you is that it's even better. So take this. So a cigar you already like, take any cigar you already enjoy, give it a few days in the cedar box with nothing in it. I think it's only going to make it better. All right? Kind of like how a bodybuilder, before his competition, he sheds water weight to show off muscle definition, which is very dangerous for him. But by shedding a little moisture in the cigar, you get more flavor definition. And you can take that to the bank. I can't stress it enough. I'm not here just for good looks and because I have a giant skull and massive balls. It is true. It's true. I can't stress it enough. I am not a bitch. You can take that to the bank and you can cash it 5 times. I'm sitting here smoking a great Bolivar by STG Underforged. It's the Gran Republica. And I wanted to read the note that Joe, I messed up the last name, Joe Christon, is it Kristen? But it's KRZ, Krizna. I don't want to mess it up, and I don't, so I'm just going to call you Joe. Joe sent me this nice note with the cigars, and I thought it was a class act. First off, he has great penmanship, better than me. With my big hands, the pens don't really fit, so, but nobody cares. This was in it. It was a nice touch. Little notes like this when guys send me stuff, I always save that. That's important to me. One day when I have my own house, I'll put down a little board, make a little, my cigar, my man cave, you know. But it is what it is. So, man, I knew it was going to change in a sense, or have increased. It's about the performance. The cigar shedding some moisture really increases the performance, which increases everything. Very heavy mouthfeel, very intense. It's much more intense this time. There's always a give and take. Not that it's pro and con, but give and take. This time around, with this having less moisture, it's so much more intense. Plunging on the nose, almost plunging in my eyes. That's a heavy medium to full right there. Therefore, with that full potential, this tobacco combusting where it should be with the less moisture. When a cigar is more intense, though, because the smoke is more intense, you can't think as clearly, and you might not be able to pick up as much, or you know what I'm saying? No. So sometimes I feel when people say, even myself, well, when, stronger cigars, might have less complexity. It's true and also not true. They might have less complexity because in the heat of the battle there, everything's so loud and everyone's popping shots. It's hard to get exactly what happened. Where if it's just five guys sitting around talking shit, you're like, well, this guy John said, go fuck yourself. And then Vinny said, go fuck yourself more. And then Joey said, you get what I'm saying though? When everyone's busting Glock 9s, you're like, I don't know. I hit the fucking ground. I was taking cover, returning fire. So there you go. It's getting very nutty as well. So a different experience. You can have a different experience in the same cigar. Do yourself a favor. Take a cigar in a plastic bag and put like a little 72 Boveda. Leave it in there for a week. Take another cigar, the same kind though, and put it in a cedar box with no Boveda for 1 week, same time. And then, in back-to-back days, not the same day, choose which one and smoke it. And tell me they both have the same taste. There's no way. There's no way. And you might like maybe you like the cigar that's more moist. That's a whole nother factor. Maybe you like it fucking wet. I don't know. That's a lot. Wow. It is still smooth though. It's not a harsh cigar at all. But that is strong. That's a lot stronger than it was the other night. It's the same type of tobacco. So what changed? The moisture. The moisture. Less moisture. Two guys having a campfire. One guy, his wood was covered, so the wood is dry. The other guy just got wood in the forest. His wood is wet. Who's having bigger flame? Who's getting more heat? Whose campfire is more intense? With the same wood. You know the answer. He said, Dear Damon, I hope you enjoy these. It's a great blend, and I'm excited to see what you think. Exclamation point. Well, I'll let you know what I think now twice. We had a live first impression right out the box, and the second impression, even better to where I have it, to where it should be. This is not just a lounge. We have an awareness with cigars. We hold ourselves accountable here. Okay? I'm holding myself accountable. Because I really enjoyed that cigar the other day. I said, how could I have even better experience? How can I increase my performance? And we did. And I want you to do it to yourself. Not like that. Don't do yourself. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of guys here told me they learned a lot from the channel. And that's what it is. Be aware of what you're doing. And you can apply these principles to everyday life. So he says, I want to know what you think. He says, cool getting to breathe some life into this legendary brand. That's really cool. Because see, Bolivar, in my opinion, on the general side, on the not, what we'll call it what it is, on the non-Cuban side, on the new world side, the Bolivar brand has gotten no respect by anyone, myself included. Until, you know, even when I saw the confrade, I'm like, what the hell is that? I thought the guy was selling like fake Cuban. Like, you sell Cubans here? What, do you sell fakes? He's like, no, that's on the General now. This was a couple of years ago. And I'm like, it's like, General sells Bolivar? I didn't even know. And then I didn't do it. And then one day I did, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't bad. But the price point was so low. So, obviously, they're still making profit on the confrade at that price. So that also goes to show that lots of times when it comes to tier, it's higher price simply because they said so. Now, he says, cool getting to breathe some life into this legendary brand. Let me know what you think. Am I reading right? Let me know. Yeah, let me know what you think. I don't know why I'm like studying here. Joe Christon. P.S. He said, I threw in a new diesel limited edition for good measure. It's strong. And it was. That diesel was nice. And that diesel was in the cedar box for like a day and a half, man. Son of a bitch. What are people doing over here? Joe Christon, Assistant Brand Manager, Bolivar Cigars. Cell phone, I'm not going to put out a cell phone. Scandinavian Tobacco Group, Richmond, Virginia. And that is a nice business card. I feel like American Psycho when he's like feeling the card. That's a nice card. So it is what it is, guys. I'm going to come back. I'm going to tell you this right now. And this doesn't just apply to this cigar. I don't care if you smoke a Padron 26, David off Nicaragua, whatever you're enjoying. Enhance it by letting it dry out for a day or two or three in your cedar box. Have your humidor, of course. But then have your cedar box will be like a temporary, like, you have the dugout and then you have the on deck. You're waiting to go to bat. Let your little cedar box with nothing in it, but a nice clean cedar, let it be. You're on deck. You're getting ready to go to bat. So let it warm up. Not with heat. You get. I'm using metaphor here so you can understand. Have your dugout. That's your humidor. But have your little cedar box for whatever cigars you're going to smoke that week, so you can stretch and get ready because they're going to bat. Shit. Holy, that's getting to me. A lot more red pepper. Holy shit, tons of red pepper coming in. Wow. Literally, like, it's not night and day because the other one was still strong, but not like this. So, the full potential of this cigar. It's kind of like this. Another metaphor. 2 357 Magnum rounds. One of those rounds, maybe you got a little moisture in it. I don't know. Maybe not completely, wet, so it still fires, but, who knows? Maybe you don't get full potential, right? The next round when the powder was dry, boom, 158 grain, 1,400 feet per second. A stout Magnum load. Um, here's what it is. Study to show yourself approved. Do something once, but like like scientific research, coming back, you know. And so we know that the only change we did, 'cause I'm still me, I'm not drunk, and I'm hydrated, and I ate prunes. But the only thing I changed was, and this is my first cigar of the day, the only thing I changed was leaving it to dry. But the same cigar. And I don't think I've done that yet in the same week to see how it changed. It is what it is. Here. We're deep into the last third. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm nubbing it. We're going to drop this ash. One more puff for the road? I got to say. And that's the message of the show. A little dry boxing goes a long way. Three, two, one. Okay, so here it is. That's what we learned tonight. That the same cigar, a few days, changes it. And we're not talking about aging for 3 days. Ain't gonna do nothing. But the humidity, the moisture in the cigar. I know I'm beating this horse to death here. And don't beat horses, because Ralph Cifaretto got killed for killing a horse by Tony. It is what it is. But so what if I did? This cigar is getting to 4.7. It has bumped up 2 points there from 4.5 to 4.7. With this combustion and this amount of power, I would say the complexity, the appearance of complexity went down a little bit because it was much more robust with the proper humidity level in this, with less moisture. But this is where it should be. This is where, because this is advertised as a bold Bolivar, and this is much bolder. So when you buy this cigar, before you smoke it, put a few in a little dry box, and then enjoy them a couple of days. Absolutely marvelous. I want to thank General Underforged, Ed Lamont, who was my original contact, who's a complete gentleman. And I've been talking to him for a long time, for years. But I would say this year we became closer. and talking about a lot of things, cigars and different kinds of experiments that they do over there, and some of my ideas, and some he liked. So interesting. Could one day we see a version of one of Richie's cigars? I don't know. I can only hope. That would be pretty cool. So Joe Kriston, appreciate that, man. Class act. Very nice. That's a gentleman. And look, though, all that's appreciated. But if this cigar sucked, I would have threw it over the balcony. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't suck. So don't be a cigar snob, and don't be a Cuban snob to say, well, I'm not going to try a non-Cuban punch or a non-Cuban Partagas, or in this case, a non-Cuban Bolivar, but it is the true Bolivar. Remember, the Bolivar, Partagas, and Punch, the guy that owned the rights, he escaped Cuba. So it is the rightful Bolivar, however you want to say it. It's not a Cuban Bolivar. But it is what it is. A dark cigar, a pungent, heavy, strong cigar. A beautiful cigar, a classy cigar. A lot more wood note, a lot of cedar, a lot more intensity. The black and red pepper was much more intense. It was quite nutty as well. It was delicious. It was bold. This time it was a lot bolder. So if you check any cigar you buy, give yourself at least a day, if you could. Out of the cellophane, just leave it on top of your humidor. And you're gonna get better performance. 2 or 3 days, you're gonna get really good performance. I guarantee you. Now, if you're in a very humid area, just leave it in a dry cedar box. At $8, this cigar is an extreme value. It is a box-worthy cigar. And we're done here. Flavor is pungent and it's very delicious, very enjoyable, and there's a sweetness to it as well. It's quite nice, salty finish as well. Quite nice, man. Well done, well done. There's not that many cigars I could say that are going to give you that level of quality construction, of draw, and of that beautiful and pronounced flavor that's desirable for $8. I mean, let's be honest, they underpriced this cigar. I mean, of course they're making profit, but this could have been a $12 cigar. Could have been a $14 cigar, but the people have not yet realized Bolivar's potential, but it's gonna grow, I guarantee it. I could see a good future with Bolivar, make even more blends. I'm excited for it. Because unlike other lineups, there's not much there with Bolivar. So you have a lot of room for aggressive expansion. We're done here. 4.7. That's where a cigar truly is. Check them out, try them out. See you around.